All right, so good evening, everyone. And so we are here to present the chapter, anong chapter type? Chapter 6 kayo, di ba?
7 po. Group
7.
6, 7,
Group
chapter
7.
7.
So we are here to present to you the chapter 7, Serving with a Smile, Motivating Exceptional Service to be reported by the uh, Group 6, headed by Miss Aplacador with her team, Mr. Sanchez, Ramos, and sino isa? Mortega. Ayan, kakapasok lang ni Miss Mortega. Okay, so they have a video presentation for their report. So please listen very carefully as this will be included to your midterm exam. All right, and then together with this report, okay, uh, we are also going to have a discussion with this ha. Hindi lang yung basta mag-aano tayo, magpe-play lang kayo ng mga video ninyo. Okay? So I am expecting that aside from playing your video is that we're going to have discussions then. Okay? Understood?
Okay po.
Okay. So magtatanong ako uh, ng may mga questions ako, well, regarding to your to your report, and hopefully magkaroon tayo ng magandang not conversation, but where is that yan? Yeah, magandang discussion for this report. Okay? So, every time na magkakaroon ako ng question, kindly, Miss Aplacador, kindly pause the video for um, a moment, and then let's resume the the discussion, okay, after answering my questions.
Okay
Okay?
po.
All right. So once again, please welcome the group 6 headed by Miss Aplacador to be discussed the chapter 7, uh, serving with a smile, motivating exceptional service. Miss Aplacador, please do the honors. Thank you so much.
We are the Group 6 and today we'll be reporting Chapter 7 which is entitled Serving with a Smile, Motivating Exceptional Service. Hospitality principle is to motivate and empower your employees. So in this chapter, we'll be able to know how hospitality organization motivate and empower their employees to be able to give or exert such an outstanding performance for their guests and customers. So the learning objectives, after reading this chapter, you should be able to understand how hospitality organizations motivate their employees to provide outstanding guest service, how organizations reinforce and reward guest-centered employees, how outstanding hospitality organizations fulfill employee needs, how playing roles can improve guest service, how modern hospitality organizations enhance guest service by empowering employees, and how leadership and authority work in organizations, and why employees accept authority. So these are the key terms and concepts. This chapter focuses on motivating and empowering the hospitality employee to provide high quality guest experience. Since quality and value are defined by the guest, the employee who provides the guest experience must be not only well trained but highly motivated to meet the guest's quality and value expectation and to do so consistently. If the role of the hospitality service provider is this important to the organization, the role of hospitality manager is also vital, since their leadership and managerial skills are the most important influence on employees' work attitudes and job behaviors. Motivating employees. The best the best hospital organizations have learned the importance of using their employees from the neck up as well as the neck down. Every guest experience is unique, and any manager who believes it is possible to predefine policies and procedures for handling any and all guest experience is mistaken. Employees should know that they are encouraged, empowered, and trusted to handle all of the many and varied situations that come up in the guest service areas for which they are responsible. Even if employees were properly selected and trained, management must continue to encourage them to do their jobs with responsibility, skills, enthusiasm, and fun. But how? Paano nga ba mamomotivate ng management yung mga employees nila to do the job well? To do their jobs well with responsibility, skills, enthusiasm, and fun. So, there are various ways to motivate employees at malaman natin to sa mga susunod na slides. What motivates people? Motivation is a simple idea that is difficult to put into practice. To motivate means to instill a desire within a person to encourage the person to act. So with motivation, it inspires or excites the employees that drives them to do their work with encouragement and more effectively or productively. In organizational setting, motivation rests on the idea that people are driven to achieve their own ends and satisfy their own needs. So they join organization because of this idea that they believe they will have greater opportunities to achieve their own goals and meet their own needs by joining an organization rather than not joining at all. So organizations of all kinds offer us inducements to join them and incentives and rewards to stay with them. In return, they expect us to make organizational contribution as a price of membership. So they expect us to make contributions in the organization, like the knowledge, skills, and abilities, quality, and the effort of the employees. In motivating employees, the role of the manager is critical. Managers must first understand what employees need and want so that rewards can be aligned with these interests. Know what tools are at their disposal to help motivate employees and understand how employees react to both financial and non-financial rewards and how these rewards motivate employees to perform. And lastly, understand how the roles as managers and leaders are critical for doing all this effectively and in a way that is seen as fair and trustworthy. So, dito malalaman kung or ma-determine kung effective leader a manager is in motivating the employees. The needs that people have. Before managers can know how to create systems to motivate and reward employees, they need to figure out what their employees need and want. Theories that try to explain people's needs are numerous. In general, they suggest that people seek to fulfill 4 levels of needs when joining organizations. So there are 4 needs that people fulfill to seek when joining organization. These are the survival needs, social needs, recognition needs, and achievement needs. So, the task of hospitality manager is, ito nga, so isa sa mga role ng manager or task ng manager kanina sa apat is to know the wants and needs of their employees in order for them to exert effort or performance. So, they offer them combination of incentives and rewards that will satisfy or help satisfy those needs. Offering the most effective combination best motivates employees to exert effort. So the first one, survival needs. In general, the most basic employee need is survival. To meet employee survival needs, the most obvious inducement is money provided through a paycheck. So some people join organization for a wide variety of reasons, but most people join organization because they need to earn a living. Their primary or basic need is earning enough money to pay rent, bills, buy food, or basic needs for living. And also, these people don't really care about their social needs, recognition needs, and achievement needs, the other three needs. Kasi mas concerned pa sila kung ano yung kakainin nila, ipapakain sa pamilya nila, and yung pangbayad sa bills, rents, and tuition or school, at iba pang mga babayarin. So before offering employees incentives or rewards that can help satisfy their other needs, managers must ensure that their employees are paid enough to meet their survival needs. Next is the social needs. Most people enjoy being a part of a group or a team. This sense of belonging can be helpful or improve in managing employee direction and behavior in the workplace. Although the main purpose of our group obviously is to work, the group often fulfills the need of members to belong or to engage or to connect with each other. When employees join any organization, they join a formal group, which includes the company as a whole, but may also be the team they join or the shift they work with. In addition, employees may belong to an informal group at the workplace. An informal group refers to a social group that forms without guidance from the organization. So, yung formal group, it is a designated group or created by the organization or management itself. Kung saan ang informal group naman is formed or created naturally by the employees themselves. Social groups form alongside or as part of work groups for a variety of reasons. People who work together tend to have things in common, what they do and when they do it and who they do it with. So also they have things in common to talk about, shared experiences, and constant reminders about sa work. They not only work together on the job every day, but also may associate of the job. People who work together often associate of the job. Groups at work can also create social groups outside the work environment. So the next, recognition needs. Although the need for recognition is stronger in some people than others, everybody likes to be appreciated. The need for recognition refers to employees' desire for praise and attention from colleagues and superiors. So some employees or most employees want to feel appreciated and acknowledged, especially ng mga colleagues or mga katrabaho and superiors nila. Kasi parang mas motivate din sila to do their job well since alam nilang na-recognize yung actions or performance nila. Letting employees know that they did a good job has a number of advantages. It lets employees know that what they did is indeed desired behavior, and it demonstrates to employees that management is aware of their behaviors and likes what they see. Employee recognition, be it formal or informal, is key to preserving and building the desired organizational culture. So, recognition needs can be satisfied through informal or formal recognition program, like yung pagbibigay ng rewards, awards, certificate, etc. It can also be monetary or non-monetary, either money or benefits or fringe benefits like health insurances, etc. Lastly, the achievement needs. Employees like to believe that what they do is important and the companies they work for do important things. If employees think that their level of service really makes a difference to their customers, the profession, or the community, they will feel a legitimate sense of importance. So if the employees believe that what they are doing is important, they will be highly energized and motivated to give incredible effort to do their job. And also, achievement needs can also be satisfied or fulfilled through while satisfying social needs, since my bigger opportunity to achieve something greater by being part of a group rather than being alone or individually. Since the employees and organization obviously have the same goal, which is to achieve something and provide exceptional service to achieve customer satisfaction. So those are the four needs that people seek when joining organization: the survival needs, social needs, recognition needs, and the achievement needs. So, next naman is the rewards that people want. So, once managers know what employees need, they can now begin to develop ways to meet those needs. And to do so, managers have a variety of financial and non-financial tools at their disposal. They include financial rewards like wages, bonuses, and group incentives. So, although employees work for different reasons, working for money is a primary motivation for seeking employment around the world. And the most effective hospitality companies naman also use non-financial rewards like formal recognition programs to motivate exceptional performance. Financial rewards. Money serves different purposes for different people. Some employees need money mainly for food, shelter, and clothing. Others use money to acquire various luxuries. So some people need money for their needs, yung mga pangangailangan nila, and others naman for their wants, ang mga luho nila. For all employees, money plays some role in motivating them to perform. But because different people have different needs, desires, and preferences, the best managers realize that money and paychecks are true incentives or reward to manage effectively. So, as seen in Figure 7-1, money can be offered as an incentive or a reward for employees' performance in a variety of ways. It can be used to satisfy a variety of needs. So, hindi ko nababasahin lahat. So, Figure 7-1, financial incentive and reward options. So, sa first column, ito yung mga pay form or rewards na natatanggap ng employees. And yung third column naman, ito yung performance, how performance is assessed. Ito yung action or performance ng employees. Paano sila na-rewardan. So, I'll just give an example. So, annual performance bonuses reward individual performance. Ang group financial incentives naman reward the team success and focus employees on working in a group to achieve common goals. Individual tips can encourage high-quality customer service, while tooltips can encourage servers to work together. And ownership in the company through stock helps employees realize that their own success depends on the company's overall success. So, depending on how almost any financial reward is presented, it can help satisfy employees' needs, reinforce what is expected from employees, and encourage certain future behaviors. In this space, pay methods can be designed to help focus employees on achieving high performance. So, next reporter.
So now we are going to report the recognizing a job well done. So the purpose of a recognition program is to say publicly and officially, thank you for a job well done. A survey of US firms revealed that nearby 90% of companies have recognition programs, and about 70% of firms have both formal and informal recognition programs. They recognize not only exceptional performance, but a variety of other accomplishments like sales, performance, innovative suggestions, safety, performance, and attendance. So yun dun naman daw po, kaya daw po merong recognition program ay para mabigyan ng rewards ang mga kanais-nais na employee dahil sa kanilang magandang performance sa trabaho. So kaya po meron pong recognizing a job well done. Next naman po is Fairmont Hotels and Resorts launch a recognition program designed to reinforce the company's service culture. The program featured different award levels such as Memory Maker for outstanding demonstrations of thoughtfulness and creativity, and Star of the Month for employees, nominated by their peers for consistently demonstrating superior performance. Yan. So example po is yung Marriott Hotel uses a recognition program called the Award of Excellence to recognize its best performing employees. Showing the company's commitment to this award, Bill Marriott participates in the award ceremony. So, ang Fairmont Hotels and Resorts daw po ay nagpatupad din sila ng mga recognition program para ma-motivate yung mga employees sila para mas pagandahin yung kanilang performance sa trabaho. So, ayan po. And makikita niyo po, si Bill Marriott, siya po ay yung may-ari ng mga Marriott Hotels. So, kahit may-ari siya, nag-participate pa rin siya sa isang awards ceremony. So, next po. Making the job fun. Not all rewards for working well have to come in the form of cash. An incentive, if flocke or a prize item, sometimes the work itself can be its own reward. Walt Disney said, "You don't work for $1. You work to create and have fun." Chile's Norman Brinker said, "If you have fun at what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Make work like play and play like hell." So, dito naman po, so syempre, hindi tayo nagtatrabaho para lang sa rewards at benefits nito, kundi dahil gusto natin yung ating ginagawa at nag-enjoy tayo doon. And the same time, syempre, yung sweldo natin is para sa mga gastusin natin, mga expenses sa bahay, sa ating sarili. So, syempre, ba't ka nga ba nagtrabaho? Para lang magkapera. Syempre, para mag-enjoy din. Kasi hindi lang naman about sa pera yung pagkatrabaho eh. It's about how you do the job that you want. So, yun lang po. Ang next po ay minimizing the negatives. Other way to make a job enjoyable is to eliminate or minimize the things that make it uninteresting or unpleasant. In all jobs, there exists some parts that are never fun or interesting or challenging, but they must be done. So, dito naman po sa minimizing the negatives, so sa trabaho po, dapat marunong tayong mag-minimize or mag-control ng mga negative na bagay kasi makaka-apekto to sa ating performance sa pagtatrabaho. So, syempre, pag puro negative yung naiisip natin, nababawasan yung enjoyment ng ating ginagawa sa isang trabaho. So, kailangan pa marunong tayong mag-minimize sa mga negative things. So, isipin na lang natin yung pag nakauwi na tayo para hindi ito maka-apekto sa ating performance sa trabaho. Ang next naman po is empowering the employee. So, in addition to motivating employees through incentives by means of recognition programs and by making the work environment more enjoyable, organizations can find ways for employees grow and develop while at the same time helping to fulfill the company's mission one important way is empowerment. So, dito na po sa empowering the employee. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko po dito ay nagbibigay ka ng permiso sa iyong mga kagrupo or members para sila yung gumawa ng decision making or paraan para mapaganda at mapaunlad ang isang organization. So, makakatulong din itong empowering the employee to para mag-grow yung pagiging sustainability ng isang business. So, next po is what is empowerment? Empowerment is the assignment of decision-making responsibility to an individual. It requires sharing information and organizational knowledge that enable empowered employees to understand. So, dito naman po, ang pagkakaintindi ko po dito ay may kakayahan ng isang mataas na posisyon or leader na mag-assign ng kanya-kanyang gawain sa mga member nito. So, syempre, mahalaga din ang decision making na ma-develop ng isang individual or ng isang employee ng isang business or organization. So, yan, kailangan maging responsable sila lalo na pagdating sa paggawa ng mga decision making para sa ikakaunlad ng kanilang organization or business. So, ito po yung kasunod niya. And contribute to organizational performance, giving them the authority to make decisions that influence organizational outcomes and rewarding them based on the organization's performance. So, ito po yung mga benefits or advantage. Empowerment helps achieve the company's mission. So, ang second is empowerment also benefits the hospitality manager. And then, so yun lang po pala. Dalawa lang sila. So, empowerment implementation. Successful implementation of employee empowerment requires companies to take some key steps. Empowerment cannot simply be decreed. It requires an investment in training employees so that they know how to use their new decision-making freedom effectively. Companies must also recognize that empowerment cannot solve all problems, so it should be implemented only where the keys are present. Sa empowerment implementation naman daw po, so dito po ay pinaprocess na po yung nagawang decision making doon sa dito po sa dito bala ayan sa empowerment po. So, dito is pinaprocess na yung mga decision making upang malaman kung ito ba ay nagiging successful sa isang business organization. So ito na yan. The 5 keys to implementing an effective empowerment program are as follows. So ito po yung 5 keys to implement an effective empowerment program. So first thing is training. Empowerment requires an investment in employee training. Employees must learn to understand their areas of responsibility truly, then they must learn how to make sound decisions within their areas. So, syempre, kung baguhan ka pa lang na empleyado sa isang business or ng isang organization, syempre, kailangan mo muna ng sapat na training na manggagaling sa inyong trainer or yung mga matatagal na doon para malaman nyo kung kung ano ba yung mga areas yung ah, ah, kailangan na responsible kayo doon sa area na yon. The second is willingness. Empowerment requires employees to not only be ready and able to make decisions about their jobs, but also be willing to do so. If the employees are uninterested in the company and its future, empowering them to make decisions will be risky. So, second, siyempre kailangan ng willingness. Paano kung yung isang employee mo ay hindi willing na mag-volunteer para gawin yung isang bagay niya. Yan. So, uninterested. Siyempre, hindi siya interesado kasi nga yung willingness is wala. Kasi pag merong willingness, interesado yung employee na gawin yung bagay na yon. So, siyempre, pag decision making yung employee na yon is masyadong risky kasi nga hindi niya gusto yung bagay na ginagawa niya. Okay, so yun po. Third is measurement. Employees must have goals or understand or standards against which the results of their decision can be measured. Otherwise, they will not know either what they should do or if their decision were good or bad. Fourth is incentives. Rewards need to be attached to successful performance. To be most effective, an incentive system rewards employees for making good decisions. Rewards help reinforce the goal of the program and make it clear to employees that using their empowerment appropriately is worthwhile. Ang pinakahuli is managerial buy-in. Management must be willing to accept empowered employees. Let them make their own decision and not interfere. An empowerment program will not work if managers cannot learn to trust the capabilities of empowered employees. So dito naman po, kung makikita nyo, hinahayaan nila na mag-decision yung mga empowered employees para syempre may tiwala tayo doon. So, para mapalago or mapaganda yung takbo ng ating business or organization. Syempre, kung wala yung tiwala mo sa powered employees, so wala talaga dapat yung tiwala mo sa mga kakayahan ng mga empowered employees is nandun. Okay. If managers who let their people make decision end up changing, overriding, or otherwise not using this decision, employee were not really empowered in the first place. So, ito. Limitation and potential of empowerment. Of course, not all organizations can benefit equally from employee empowerment. Empowerment may be less appropriate if one, the basic business strategy emphasize low cost, high volume operations. Number two, the tie to most customers is short term. Third is technology use is simple and routine. Fourth, the business environment is highly predictable. And fifth, last is employees have low growth needs, low social needs, and weak interpersonal. So dito naman sa alternative employee empowerment can be highly successfully and rewarding if number one, service is customized or personalized. Number two, relationship are long-term. Number three, technology use is complex. Number four, the environment is unpredictable. And number five, employees have high growth needs, social needs, and strong interpersonal. Kung papasin nyo dito sa isa, ito, low growth needs, low social needs, and weak interpersonal skills. So dito naman sa employee empowerment is high grow needs, social needs, and strong interpersonal skills. So yun talaga yung magandang advantage ng uh, employee empowerment. So ayan. Degree of empowerment. Of course, empowerment is not an absolute. It has degrees. Managers may find that more is not necessarily better. Employee need to be capable of making appropriate decisions. A manager may choose to provide higher degrees of empowerment for some individuals and teams doing certain tasks than for others. So dito naman po sa degree of empowerment is that hindi lang siya empowerment na isang ano lang, sabihin natin isang straight lang na hindi, degree din siya na may iba't ibang degree siya na tawag. Okay. May iba-ibang degree siya na tawag. So, kailangan suitable doon sa ibibigay mong task sa isang individual. Okay. So, kailangan suitable yung kanyang degree doon sa bibigay mong task para maganda yung maging resulta. So, unintended consequences of empowerment can lead to problems if empowered employees make decisions that are disadvantageous to other employees or to the organization as a whole. For example, if a desk agent allows guests to check out for 2 hours late, the housekeeping staff may have difficulty in preparing the room for the next guest, especially if another empowered desk agent allows them to check in early. So, unintended consequences of empowerment. Kakaintindi ko dito is, ayan, of course, lahat naman ng bagay na nagkakaroon ng problema, di ba? So, empowerment can lead to problems. So, nagkakaproblema din ng empowerment. Lalo na sa mga empowered employees na gumagawa ng decisions making na hindi angkop doon sa kabuuan ng isang organization. So, rewarding employees for performance. Once you have hired functionally qualified people, trained them, and have identified their various needs, you have the challenge of keeping them interested in the specifics of their jobs. So, dito na, wala pala. So, dito, the power of positive reinforcement. A well-accepted psychological principle is that if you reward desired behaviors and don't reward the undesired behaviors, you will get more of the desired behaviors and fewer of the undesired ones. Rewarding desired behaviors is called positive reinforcement. So, paano ba natin matatawag na positive reinforcement ang isang employee? So, ito nga daw, pag ang employee ay merong desired na behavior, tinatawag siyang positive reinforcement. Okay. So, ito, the buffet. A popular buffet restaurant decided to add a greater position to welcome guests as they enter the restaurant. Manager Gail Bowman told newly hired Charles Jones explicitly that his primary responsibility was to greet and welcome the guests. However, as time went on, to keep Jones busy when guests were not entering the restaurant, Bowman added responsibilities to that position, such as checking periodically to make sure that there were enough trays or that the buffet dish was always full. Jones quickly realized that Bowman never complimented him for properly greeting the guests. did she ever say anything to him, but he missed a guess because he was too busy with his other duties. But if he ever let the buffet line run out of trays, Bowman redefined the job description. So, actually, ang ano talaga ni, ano dito is, ano, siya yung taga, ano, ng mga trays sa isang buffet restaurant. So, syempre, pag wala ng trays, paano nga ba makakain yung mga tao? Diba? So, she made her real priorities clear in the mind of Charles Jones at least, and he adjusted his action accordingly. The point is that what we reward tends to be what gets done. Managers must remember to reinforce preferred behaviors from providing the right incentives in the right amounts at the right times. If we want our employee to exert appropriate effort, we must be clear and consistent about we reward. So ito, linking performance and rewards. A critical part of the manager's job, in addition to identifying the mix of incentives or rewards that each employee needs, wants, and expects, is define how each employee can get those rewards. And expectancy theory. Maintain that organizations need to relate rewards directly to performance. If employees believe or expect, number one is that they can achieve a certain performance level by putting a certain level of effort. Second, the achieving this performance level will lead to promised rewards. And third, if employees value these rewards sufficiently, they will be motivated to put in the effort necessary to get the rewards. So, syempre, mga employees, syempre, mamomotivate sila na mas lalo magbigay ng mga effort sa alang-alang para makakuha nila yung rewards sa isang business. So, ayan, hanggang dito na lang po pala yung aking presentation. So, thank you po sa pakikinig. So, ang next naman pong report is clarifying employees' roles. So, yun po.
We are going to report the clarifying employees' roles pre-condition for employees' acceptance of authority. Managers are responsible for clarifying job roles for their employees by explaining how they fit within the overall organizational effort by providing clear job description, by setting clear and specific goals, by reinforcing cultural norms and values, and by continuously communicating the expected behaviors of employee in their jobs through everything managers say, do, and write. Employees who know their roles will be better able to focus their efforts on productive activities and avoid wasting energy on unproductive activities. So, ang mga tagapamahala daw po ay may pananagutan sa pag-inom ng mga tungkulin sa trabaho para sa kanilang mga empleyado sa pamamagitan daw po ng pagpapaliwanag kung paano sila umaangkop sa loob ng pangkalahatang pagsisikap ng organisasyon sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng mag-inom na paglalarawan sa trabaho sa pamamagitan daw po ng mga line mate. Role theory is a way to explaining how the organization, group, or work team influences the behavior of its members. People behavior rules in fairly predictable patterns which are usually influenced by others. Each rule has different expectation of the person, and while playing the role, the person is continuously influenced by others watching the person behave. So, ang theory daw po ng tungkulin ay isang paraan upang maipaliwanag kung paano na-impluwensyahan ng mga organisasyon o grupo ang pangkat ng trabaho ng isang pag-ugali ng mga miyembro nito. Ang bawat tungkulin daw po ay may iba't ibang inaasahan sa tao, at habang ginagampanan ng mga papel ay patuloy na impluwensyahan ng iba na nanonood sa kanilang pag-uugali. And the next based on classic research in the field. Role-playing situation have two major elements. Isa po dito is yung role senders and role receiver or focal person. Role senders are all those who let us know what role they expect us to play and then try to tell us to behave in performing the role by sending us a verbal and non-verbal. So, makikita po natin dito, ang role senders po ay yung manager, co-workers, and guests in society. Expectation po nila dito is yung oral instruction, training, request, non-verbal po. Sila po yung social nerves, sila po yung role sender. And the role receiver naman po is the employee. Ito po yung mga behaviors po ng employee or isang personality na interpretation po. Ito po yung attitude, service, orientation, na ang bawat tungkulin daw po ay may iba't ibang mga inaasahan sa tao habang ginagampanan ng papel ay patuloy na na-implementsyahan ng iba na nanonood sa pag-ugali ng tao. And next, the instruction and training that the boss sends the cues, the co-workers and guests send, and the social norms that our society sends help define the expectation they all have of us in the guest service role. The role receiver or focal person is the employee. Employees observe and receive all the expectation that people are sending them and interpret this information to form the behavior they think people want from them. So, pagtuturo at pagkasanay daw po na ipinapadala ng isang boss, ang pagtuturo at pagkasanay na ipinadala ng boss ang mga pinapadala ng mga katrabaho at bisita at ang mga pamantayang panlipunan na ipinapadala ng ating lipunan ay nakakatulong daw po na tukuyin ng mga tungkulin sa serbisyo. Ang tumatanggap daw po ng tungkulin or focal person ay ang empleyado. Ang mga empleyado naman daw po ay nagmamasid at nakakatanggap ng lahat ng mga inaasahan na ipinapadala ng mga tao sa kanila. At binibigyan din po ng kahulugan ng impormasyong ito upang mabuo ang mga pag-uugali na sa tingin nila ay gusto ng mga tao mula sa kanila. And the next po is the class member role. And Disney uses the concept of role in unique way to enhance the nature of performance of the job. By using the term class member for all employees, Disney emphasizes the idea that everyone's organizational class is playing a role in public performance. The terms on stage and off stage are also used to reinforce this notion in the minds of all employees. The idea that employees comprise at a class putting on a show has many organizational benefits, but perhaps the biggest is to get people to think of their jobs as role. They understand what they are asked to do if those roles is part of a performance for their guests or audience. The distinction between the real you and what you are capable of doing or being in the real life on the one hand and your skillful performance of the street sweepers role on the other is clear. So, ginagamit ng Disney ang concept ng papel sa isang natatanging paraan upang mapahusay ang kalikasan at ang pagganap ng mga empleyado. Sa pamagitan daw po ng paggamit ng terminong miyembro ng cast para sa lahat ng empleyado, binibigyan din daw po ng Disney ang ideya na ang lahat sa cast ng organisasyon ay gumaganap ng isang papel sa isang pampublikong pagtatanghal. Ang mga termino na sa empleyado daw po at ang sa labas ng empleyado ay ginagamit din upang palakasin ang paniniwala na ito sa isipan ng lahat ng empleyado. And the next po is role conflicts. The continual process of playing different roles is full of potential and real conflicts for guest service employees. A person who is sent different role expectation by different people may feel conflict and confusion. If the guests expect the thing the company policy requires requires another, the employee faces the difficult choice of determining which way to go, which road to take. So, ang patuloy na prosesong ito po na paglalaro ng iba't ibang tungkulin ay puno-puno na po ng mga potentials para sa mga empleyado ng isang serbisyo. Ang isang tao daw po na pinadala ng iba't ibang mga tungkulin na iba't ibang tao ay maaaring makaramdam ng kontrahan o pagkalito. Kung inaasahan daw po ng bisita ang isang bagay, ang patakaran daw po ng kumpanya ay nangangailangan ng isa pa, naharap ang empleyado sa mahirap na pagpili. Ang salungat ay for example, if Sally husband asks her to come home early for the children's birthday party and Sally boss asks her to work an extra shift tonight, Sally rules as wife, mother, and employee will complete. So, yun nga po, magkasalungat po sila. Dahil ang tungkulin po ni Sally is bilang asawa at ina at empleyado. So, magkasalungat po. And then, clarifying the role, managers need to spend time and energy in minimizing employee role, complete and maximizing role clarity. People like to know what is expected of them. When the organization and its leadership don't spend the necessary time clarifying employee role expectation, the potential for conflict is real. Effective hospitality training programs clearly define the rules for their employees and thereby minimize the conflicts they will have to face. When they have to finish training to begin to serve guests, service providers should know their rules. So, gusto daw po nang malaman ng mga tao kung ano ang inaasahin sa kanila. So, kapag ang organization daw po at ang pamumuno nito ay hindi gumugugol ng kinakailangang oras sa paglilinaw ng mga inaasahan na tungkulin ng empleyado. So, epektibong programa sa mabuting pakikitungo ay malinaw na tumutukoy sa mga tungkulin para sa kanilang mga empleyado kapag matapos na sila sa pagsasanay at nagsisimulang maglingkod or mag-serve sa mga bisita. Dapat na isa din po sa dapat nilang malaman ang service provider, kanilang mga tungkulin ng mga kung ano yung tungkulin nila as empleyado. So next, emotional labor and role playing. So frontline hospitality employees who interact with guests have to be good at performing what is termed emotional labor. These employees not only need the skill, ability, and knowledge to perform the service, which may require some physical labor, but also we need the whatever it takes to perform the service in certain way. Hardly anyone naturally smile all the time, nor can anyone's natural response to guests need always be empathetic, but small and sympathy are part of the hospitality employee's job, even when it's hard. It is especially difficult for most people to act positive and empathic when things go wrong and an angry, upset, or unreasonable guest is yelling at them. So, ang mga frontline daw po ng hospitality na empleyado na nakikipag-unayan sa bisita ay kailangang maging mahusay sa pagsagawa ng tinatawag na emotional na paggawa. Ang mga empleyado daw po ay hindi lamang nangangailangan ng kasanayan or orientation, kakayahan at kaalaman upang maisagawa ang serbisyo na maaaring mangailangan ng ilang physical na paggawa. Ngunit kailangan din naman na anumang kinakailangan upang maisagawa ang serbisyo sa isang tiyak na paraan. Yun po. And halos walang sinuman ang natural na humihiti sa lahat ng oras. Di ang natural na pagtugon ng sinuman sa mga pangangailangan ng isang panaunahin ay maaaring palaging maging empatiya or empathic. Ngunit ang mga ngiti at pakikiramay ay bahagi ng trabaho ng isang empleyado. And the next, the effort requires to deal with the guests in this situation is emotional labor. It can be at least is a draining on the employees as a physical labor, just as a positive attitude can be contagious to can a negative one. So, and the emotional labor expended is genuinely feeling the emotions, responding to the many needs and problems of guests. Would wear anybody out long before our shift was over. Performing the job as an acting role makes it possible for hospitality employees to perform well without becoming emotionally exhausted. The research on this topic suggests that role playing is actually better for the employee and the organization than genuine emotional involvement. According to Ashford and Humphrey, given the repetitive and scripted nature of many service rules, one may develop habitual routines for acting. Such emotional labor become relatively effortless. So, ang emotional daw po na paggawa ng na inugugo sa tunay na pakiramdam, ang emotional na tumutungon sa maraming mga kailangan na problema ng mga bisita ay maaaring mapagod kahit sino bago matapos ang isang shift sa trabaho. So, ang pagsasagawa ng trabaho bilang isang lumaganap ng tungkulin ay ginagawang possible para sa mga empleyadong mabuting pakikitungo na gumaganap ng maayos ng hindi nagiging emotional na pagod. So, ayon daw po sa pananalisis na isang ito ay nagpapahiwatig na ang paglalaro ng papel ay talagang mas mahusay para sa empleyado at ang organisasyon kaysa sa tunay na emotional na paglako. So, ayon kay kina Ashford at Humphrey, dahil sa pagkulit at scripted na kapangyarihan na maaaring tungkulin sa paglilingkod, maaaring magkaroon daw po ng nakagawian ng mga gawain para sa kumikilos na ang emotional na paggawa ay nagiging medyo walang hirap. So, next, settings goals. Another way managers can clarify their expectations for employees and at the same time motivate better performance is by setting goals. Most managers are familiar with the value for the overall organization of goal settings for individual employees and units. Research has repeatedly shown that setting specific and challenging goals leads to higher performance level than expressing goals or telling people to do their best. Like goals should satisfy the SMART criteria. That is, goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-bound. Specific and measurable goals allow people to know where they are supposed to be heading and what it will look like when they get there. They are powerful means to achieve the attainable, result-oriented, and time-bound outcomes. Goal settings that follows the SMART rules is an excellent motivational tool. They allow people to self-manage since they can show clearly or objectively whether behavior at work are leading towards or away from the set goals. They provide the means to keep everyone's efforts aligned with the organizational purpose since the goals are directly connected to the organization mission. And finally, specific and measurable goals are a way to keep people from wasting time doing things what do not need doing. The goal settings process has two desirable organizational outcomes. First is produce a logical and complete plan of how each part of the organization will contribute to the overall success of the hotel, condition, bureau, or local attraction. Second, what they to us value to that organization ability to achieve its mission. Employees perform more effectively when they know how they are contributing to organizational success, and the goal setting process communicates in specific terms what they need to do in order to meet their contribution. So, ang isang pangparaan upang linawin ng mga tagapamahala ang kanilang mga inaasahan para sa mga empleyado at sa parehong oras ay maudyo ng mas mahusay na pagganap na sa pamamagitan ng pagtatakda daw po ng mga layunin. Karamihan po sa mga tagapamahala ay pamilyar na sa halaga para sa pangkalahatang organisasyon na pagtatakda ng layunin para sa mga individual na empleyado at unit. So, ang karamihan sa mga tagapamahala ay pamilyar sa halaga para sa pangkalahatang organisasyon ng pagtatakda ng layunin para sa mga individual na empleyado. So, paulit-ulit na ipinapakita na ng pananaliksik daw po ang pagtatakda ng mga tiyak na mapaghamon o ngunit maabot ng mga layunin ay humahantong sa mas mataas na antas na pagganap kaysa sa pagpapahayag ng hindi malinaw na layunin o pagsabi sa mga tao na gawin ang kanilang makakaya. And yun nga po, ang mga layunin na dapat daw matugunan ng pamantayan ng SMART. Ibig sabihin, ang mga layunin ay dapat na tumutukol o nasusukat or naabot or resulta ng oriented at time-bound. Ang particular at ang masusukat ng layunin ay nagbibigay daan sa mga tao na malaman kung saan sila dapat patungo at kung ano yung magiging itsura nito pagdating nila doon. Ang mga ito na po ay isang makapangyarihan paraan upang makamit ang mga resultang makakamit. So, nakatuon sa resulta at napapanahon po. Yun po, ang pagtatakda din po ng layunin na sumusunod sa mga tuntunin ito ng SMART ay isang mahusay na tool na pagganyak. Pinapahintulutan din po ng mga tao na pamahalaan ng sarili dahil sa naipakita nila ng malinaw at may layunin kung ano yung mga pag-ugal sa trabaho ay humahantong o malayo sa mga itinakda na layunin. So, nagbibigay ng mga paraan upang panatilihin na ay ng mga pagsisikap sa lahat ng layunin o organisasyon dahil direktang konektado daw po ang mga layunin sa misyon ng organisasyon. So, next po, for example po is management by objective. So, organization often make their goal settings process systematic by incorporating better directors. Management by objective, MBO, or management by objective is a process of having each employee set specific and measurable goals and then using the achievement of those goals as the driver for that employee's performance assessment. It's great value to both organization and employees it for specification of job responsibility is in contract like written document that allows everyone to know exactly what they are supposed to do and how they will be evaluated on it. The heart of traditional or management by objective is the manager's letters written by employees to managers and not vice versa. In the letter, employees express the understanding of their own job objective and the manager's jobs objective their own goals for the coming period. So the following quarter of or year. the obstacles to meeting them, the standard by which they expect to be evaluated, and the specifics of what they plan to do meet the goals. The employees and manager discuss the letter until they reach an agreement about its contents. So madalas na ginagawa ng mga organisasyon na simplematiko ang kanilang proseso sa pagtatakda ng mga layunin sa pamamagitan ng pagsasama ng letter droppers, or yun yung management by objectives. So ang MBO or management by objective ay isang proseso daw po ng pagkakaroon ng bawat empleyado na mag-akda ng tiyak na or nasusuwat na layunin. Pagkatapos ay gamitin ang paggamit ng mga layuning iyon bilang pangunahing driver para sa pagtatakda or pagganap ng empleyado. Ang malaking halaga nito sa organisasyon at empleyado ay pinipilit nitong itakda ang mga responsibilidad sa trabaho sa isang parang kontrata na nakasulat sa dokumento na nagpapahintulot sa lahat ng malaman kung ano yung mismo ang dapat nilang gawin ay kung paano sila susuliin dito. So, ang puso daw po ng traditional na MBO o management by objective ay ang lihim na tagapamahala na isinusulat ng mga empleyado sa mga tagapamahala at hindi kabaliktaran. Sa ilalim na po ng pinapahayag ng mga empleyado na ang kanilang pag-unawa sa kanilang sarili, mga layunin sa trabaho at ang mga layunin sa trabaho ng tagapamahala sa kanilang mga layunin para sa darating na panahon or sa susunod na quarter o taon. Ang mga hadlang sa pagtugon sa kanila ang mga pamantayan kung saan inaasahan nilang nasuri at ang mga detalye na kung ano yung plano nilang gawin upang matugunan ng mga layunin na yun. Nag-uusapan din po ng empleyado at manager ang sulat hanggang sa magkaroon yung kontrata o magkaroon sila ng kasunduan tungkol sa nilalaman nila. The next is providing the right direction. Managers need to know what theories of motivation they can apply to motivate employees, what needs their employees have, and how to offer rewards that meet those needs in order that elicit exceptional performance. Manager also need to have sufficient and administrative or transactional skill to take care of the basic job related requirements of their employees. They must be able to handle the paperwork, administrative duties and policies that directly influence each employee's ability to perform the job. So, a manager who forgets to submit the proper payroll does get the computer fixed or schedules to few people to work on shift creates situation in which the most chosen energetic employee can succeed. Good managers are those who closely and competently on shift creates situation in which the most enthusiastic energetic employees can succeed. Good managers are those who closely and competently attend to those basic and routine job requirements of employees. So, kailangan daw malaman ng mga tagapamahala kung ano yung mga teorya ng pagagayak ang maaari nilang ilapat upang maudyok sa mga empleyado kung ano yung mga pangangailangan ng mga kanilang empleyado at kung paano mag-alok ng mga reward or gantimpala na nakakatugon sa mga pangangailangan upang makuha ng panghihi ng pagganap o yung pagganap. Kailangan din magkaroon daw po ng sapat na kakayahan sa pangangasiwa or tagapamahala or transaksyon ang mga tagapamahala upang mapangalagaan ng mga pangunahing pangangailang may kaugnayan sa trabaho ng kanilang mga empleyado. And dapat din nilang pangasiwaan ng mga papels, mga pamamaraang pang-administratibo at ang mga patakalang direktang nakaka-impluwensya sa mga kakayahan ng bawat empleyado na gampanan ng mga bako. Then next po is managers and authority. These managers are still comfortable with the outmoded idea that mostly subordinates to job and lets them us a high on the way up. Employees working for this management are not usually motivated to provide the expectational service for which hospitality organizations strive. And people generally don't want to work for authoritarian managers. Such a manager's lower employee morale increase the turnover and hurt the company culture. And yet, hospitality management and supervisor need to get people to accept direction and work hard in behalf of the organization. So, ang mga manager daw po na ito ay komportable na sa mga lumang idea na sinasabi ng mga kanilang mga boss or hinahayaan silang magtanong. Yun na lang. Hinahayaan silang magtanong kung gaano kataas yung daan. Yan. Ang mga empleyadong nagtatrabaho tapos sa mga tagapamahala na ito ay karaniwang hindi nauudyukan ng mga magbigay ng mga pambili ng serbisyo or bigay ang kanilang best. Kung saan sinisikat ng mga organisasyon ng mabuting pakikitungo. And karaniwang ayaw ng mga tao na magtrabaho para sa mga authoritarian na tagapamahala. Ang ganitong mga tagapamahala daw po ay nagpapababa ng moral ng empleyado or nagpapataas ng turnover at nagkakasakit sa kultura ng kumpanya. Yun po yung sakit ng kumpanya. Ngayon kailangan ng mga manager at supervisor ng hospitality na hikayatin ng mga tao na tanggapin ng direksyon at magtrabaho ng gusto sa ngalan ng organisasyon. The next is authority acceptance theory. While not all managers have the characteristic of great leaders, he all possesses the power and responsibility to direct, to subordinate behaviors because of the very nature of the managerial job. Bagamat hindi lahat ng mga tagapamahala daw po ay may mga katangian ng mahusay na pamumuno. Lahat sila ay nagtataglay daw po ng kapangyarihan at responsibilidad na idirekta ang mga subordinate na pag-ugali sa mismong likas na katangian ng isang pamamahala ng trabaho. So, ang question po is dito is, why people follow or don't follow direction and don't do what manager asked them to do. So, according to classic management writer Chester Barnard's authority acceptance theory, authority is the quality of directive that causes someone else to accept the directive and to do as directed. If someone instructs you to bring a cake of beers from the cooler and you do it, that directive has authority for you. So, ayun daw po kay classic management writer na si Chester Barnard's authority acceptance theory. Ang aktwalidad daw po ng kanilad ng isang direktiba na naging sanhi ng ibang tao na tanggapin ng direktiba at gawain ang tinuturo. If you do not do it, the directive does not have authority for you. So whether a directive has authority or not determined by the directive receiver, not the sender or person in authority. And the organization gives the manager for formal powers. The individual gives the manager authority. And in much the same way, the value is defined by the guest and rewards defined by the employee. Authority has to be accepted by the employee or there is no authority. The factors influencing the acceptance of the managerial authority lie in the nature of the sender and receiver, their relationship to the organization and to each other. And in the nature of communication itself, the manager must understand and pay attention to these factors that influence employee acceptance of direction, just as governments must ultimately rely on the consent of the governor through most hospitality organization. Then proceed po tayo sa precondition for employee acceptance of authority. For precondition must be met before an employee will accept managerial authority. Number 1 po is the employee must understand the directive. Ito po yung dapat maunawaan ng empleyado, ang direkta. If the employee does not understand the directive, compliance is impossible. Many employees have listened carefully and then later wondering what the manager was talking about or what the manager wanted done. Many employees have told they understood a directive and then found that they did not because the communication was too confusing or too general. So, kung hindi daw po naiintindihan ng empleyado ng direkta, imposible daw po ang pagsunod. O maraming empleyado daw po ang nakikinig ng mabuti at pagkatapos daw po ay nagtatakong kung ano yung sinabi ng manager. So, gano'n po lagi yun nangyayari sa bawat empleyado. So, for example po is Area Regional Supervisor Jones tells store manager Smith, get rid of trouble with the refrigerator at the Garden Grill restaurant. Smith removes the trouble's refrigerator, scrap it, and replaces it with a new one when Jones really wanted the old one repaired. And the two employees had the current meaning for get rid or trouble of the trouble. Even though they both understood the communication, their understanding were different. So, magkaiba po sila ng pagkakaintindi. A manager who was not checked to see if communicating was understood does not exercise authority. So, yung isa pong employees who are supposed to comply with the directive cannot do what they do not understand. So, sabi po dito, ang dalawang empleyado daw po ay magkaiba ng kahulugan para sa alinsunod o alisin ang gulo. Kahit na pareho nilang naiintindihan ng komunikasyon, magkaiba naman po sila ng pagkakaintindi. Yun po yun. At ang isang manager naman, ito po, yung example ko kanina is yung isang manager na hindi nag-survey upang makita kung ano yung komunikasyon ay naiintindihan, ay hindi gumagamit naman ng autoridad. And ang mga empleyado na dapat sumunod sa isang direktiba ay hindi maaaring gawin ng hindi nila naiintindihan. So, hindi mo kailangan gawin kung hindi mo siya naiintindihan. Number 2, the employee must believe that the directive is consistent with the organization goals. So, dapat maniwala ang mga empleyado na ang direktiba daw po ay naayon sa mga layunin ng organisasyon. So, an airline flight attendant noticed that the exit to plane has oil on the floor, which might endanger the safety of the flying passengers. The pilot tells the attendant to allow the passengers off the plane anyway, because so many training sessions have stresses the primary importance of passenger safety. The attendant may well ignore the pilot and keep the passengers on the plane until the oil is cleaned out, without a reasonable explanation for departing from safety standards. The attendant will be not see the directive as consistent with the organization goals. All experienced managers know that employees hesitate to follow such directives. If a directive appears to conflict with an organizational goal, accepted to policy, tradition, or past practice, the manager must spend the time to explain why this time is different. And a special violation of this precondition is the goal conflict, caused by completing directives from the two or more managers. Both directives are sent down, but they cannot both support the organization effort. The employees will either accept one and reject the other or do nothing. So, napansin nung isang airline flight daw po ng attendant na ang paglabas na isang eroplano ay may langis sa sahig na maaaring ilagay sa panganib ang kaligtasan ng mga nakasakay or pasahero. So, sinasabi ng pilot, ang attendant na payagan ng mga pasahero na bumaba sa eroplano dahil napakaraming sesyon ng pagsasali ang nagbigay diin sa pangunahing kahalagan ng kaligtasan sa pasahero. Maring baliwaliin ng attendant ang pilot at panatilihin ng mga pasahero sa eroplano hanggang sa malinis ang langis. Kung walang pangatwirang paliwanag para sa pag-alis sa mga kamatayan sa kaligtasan, hindi makikita ng attendant na ang direktiba ay naayon sa mga layunin ng organisasyon. Next is, the employee must believe that directive is consistent with the employee's own goals. This precondition is related to whatever motivate. Ito po pala yung dapat maniwala ang empleyado na ang direktiba ay naayon sa sariling mga layunin ng empleyado. This is precondition is related to whatever motivate the employee to apply with the organization in the first place. If carrying out the directive will result in the employee having to do something that will make organization less attractive to employee. The directive may be disobeyed or more usually evaded. Such directives are inconsistent with the employee's personal motives, which are the basis for accepting any directives at all. If the directive is totally inconsistent with goals or principles that are important to the employee, and the directive cannot be ignored or avoided, the employee may resign. So, nagre-resign po sila. Accepting or rejecting managerial or supervisory authority is result of the employee carefully weighing the balance between the inducement. If inducement offer are equal to or more than the contribution expected, the directives will be accepted. If you require the contribution outweigh, inducement's directive will not be carried out. So, ang naturang direktiba ay hindi naayon sa personal na motibo ng empleyado na siyang batayan para sa pagganap ng anumang direktiba ay gawain. So, next is, the employee must be physically and mentally able to carry out the directive. So, kailangan physical and mental na kayang isagawa ng empleyado ang direktiba. This is a condition may seem too obvious to mention, yet we are sometimes asked to do the impossible. A woman with a bad back is told to carry heavy pieces of liquor. An employee allergic to detergent is told to take a temporary assignment in the hotel laundry. So, the manager who gives directives without knowing each employee capabilities soon find out that it can be wrong if wrong. So, ang pangunahing condition na ito ay maaaring mukhang masyadong halata upang banggitin. Kung hindi ito magagawa, hindi ito magagawa. So, yun po yun.
Securing employee compliance with directives. Once the preconditions to the acceptance of authority are understood, how do managers actually secure compliance with their directives? When you are a manager, what will you need to do to ensure that your subordinates do what you ask of them? The compliance necessary for a smoothly functioning organization comes about for 4 reasons. Number 1. Effective managers issue directives that comply with the 4 preconditions. Directives that do not comply with the preconditions are not obeyed. Poor managers ignore the preconditions primarily for one reason. They don't know any better. They think their formal organizational position give them right to issue commands of all types. This belief is confirmed by many organizational experience in which managers' subordinates do indeed comply with their commands, but it can be also lead to those managers having subordinate leave for more fulfilling positions. Explanation is while telling your employees about new procedures and policies is better than leaving them to guess your procedures. Expecting them to remember verbal instructions about policies and procedures is being overly optimistic. If you can't seem to pinpoint why employees don't follow procedures, the reason might simply be that they can't remember what you told them. When your procedures are written down in a way that's easy to understand and you make them easily accessible for every employee, you create a consistent reminder that removes the opportunity for excuses. Number 2. Effective managers ensure not just clear communication from the manager to the subordinate, but also from the subordinate to the manager and between subordinates. Managers who know what their subordinates don't know often forget to share what they know, and that result communication gap can lead to employee misunderstandings and failure to do what needs to be done. Good communication is essential for a good manager. They must also make sure they understand their subordinates' needs. A manager needs to make sure that all employees have the communication they need to do their jobs correctly and that the communication can flow freely among the employees who need it to effectively deliver the service product, and managers must ensure that they are understood. Number 3. People joining an organization expect to do job-related tasks. They obey directives within these zones of acceptance without question. Directives fall into one of 3 classes: clearly acceptable, clearly unacceptable, and questionable. An employee's acceptance zone will be influenced by the goals of that employee. If continuing affiliation with the organization is necessary for achieving a personal goal, then securing that person's compliance with authority is more likely regardless of what the contribution is that expected. Number 4. Members enforce each other's compliance. Most members want their organization run smoothly. If it does, they can gain the benefits that they anticipated when they joined. Therefore, group members will bring social pressure to bear on any member unwilling to accept authority. Employees realize that they cannot achieve their own personal goals if the organization fails. An organization cannot succeed if its members will not accept authority and take directions. It's common knowledge that helping employees set and reach goals is a critical part of every manager's job. You can give your employees real-time input on their performance while motivating them to achieve more. Managing fairly. According to equity theory, we compare what we get out of an endeavor to what we put into it and draw a conclusion as to the fairness of the ratio of the two. We may have an internal standard of comparison, or we may compare ourselves to other people both side and outside our organizations. If we think that we are getting a fair deal, we are satisfied. If we think that we are getting less than we deserve, we feel unfairly treated. Employees who feel unfairly treated will seek to restore their sense of what is fair by reducing their motivation to perform to a level they feel is fair. The challenge when trying to manage fairly lies in figuring out how or with whom your employees are comparing their inputs and outputs, and if the comparison is external, in trying to understand how employees value the inputs and outputs of both parties. Managers who seek the superior performance that distinguishes excellent organization from the merely average must be alert to equity comparisons, their equity theory, the theory that people consider what they get out and the output and what they to the fairness of the endeavor by comparing the ratio of outputs to inputs to the perceived ratio of others. Leading with integrity. A leader's responsibilities are many to inspire, challenge, and create a shared purpose among employees to promote employee engagement, set goals, offer feedback, provide inspiration, and set the example that motivates the employee to go extra mile. But it all begins, says Tony Simmons, author of The Integrity Divide, then with establishing trust. Behavioral integrity describes the fit between what the leader says and what the leader does. When the subordinates trust their leaders, they are most satisfied with their own work, more committed to the company, better performers, and more willing to perform beyond what is required by the job description. If leaders fail to keep their promises, they lose their effectiveness. If promised rewards are not given, employees become skeptical and less likely to engage in behaviors that we are supposed to be rewarded. If leaders do not behave with integrity, they are going to create dissatisfaction and turnover. Motivating employees is a complex balancing act. The best organizations place many tools at the manager's disposal to help encourage employee performance, but if the manager does not lead with integrity, these tools are ineffective. Leaders and the changing environment. As hospitality leaders try to strike the investment contributions balance that will motivate employees to perform at their best, they must remain responsive to the ever-changing environment. Increased diversity, more work teams, greater global competition, cultural shifts, new technologies, the list goes on. As a result, future leaders will need to be more culturally aware and be able to incorporate multiple perspectives, appreciate cross-cultural and cross-generational differences, understand both individual and team needs and functions effectively in complex environments. Motivation, employee satisfaction, and guest satisfaction. Because people are complex, there is no simple way to motivate everybody while realizing the critical role of financial rewards in the world of work. Managers must also realize that money will not solve all motivational problems. Recognition and feedback can also be motivational if managers have the leadership and management skills to provide these non-financial rewards effectively. The work itself can be highly motivating if designed appropriately. A complicating factor is that jobs cannot be designed only to motivate employees. Job designers must also consider the company's culture, the types of employees selected, the training they receive, and the way that the service product is delivered. Employers are offered the incentives that best fit their needs. Managers structure jobs to make them motivating. Employees understand their roles and how their behaviors can lead to rewards, and managers provide clear leadership exercise managerial authority effectively and appropriately and lead with integrity. Employee motivation is the drive that energizes people to do what they do in a given situation. Highly motivated employees are not just working for a paycheck, they are engaged so much with the organization's mission, they are willing to work hard to help reach it. Do satisfied employees perform well? But is it safe to assume that a satisfied workforce is going to be a productive workforce? Certainly, employee satisfaction leads to several beneficial outcomes, including lower turnover. Some even argue that employee satisfaction is essential if the employee is to be motivated to maintain maximum effort and performance. Having happy employees does not necessarily mean that you will have either good performers or happy customers. Customer satisfaction does not seem to depend on employee satisfaction. Managers need to avoid the trap of concluding that because their employees are happy, they must also be performing well and satisfying customers. Don't think that you can simply look at employee satisfaction as a measure of how well the employee is performing or how well you've done as a manager. Are high performers satisfied? The relationship between employee performance and employee satisfaction may actually be the other way around. High performance may lead to high satisfaction. Employees must also have the traits and abilities that will enable them to achieve desired performance levels. When motivated employees with the right traits and abilities properly understand their organizational role, high levels of performance results. An employee's happiness does not necessarily mean they will perform better. Often, high performance actually leads to high employee satisfaction. However, increasing satisfaction does improve retention. Are the customers of satisfied high performer also satisfied? Many companies with satisfied employees have gone bankrupt. The big question is whether employee satisfaction is generally accompanied by guest satisfaction. Fortunately, research suggests that if employees know what to do, feel that the company values and rewards good customer service, and are well managed, the result will be both high employee satisfaction and high guest satisfaction. Employee satisfaction is not enough in and of it itself to motivate or enable employees to give customers a good experience. but because satisfied employees tend to stay, learn the culture, and be engaged. It is an important piece of the customer service. To deliver great customer service, you need to have the right culture, hire the right people, and motivate them to perform. But even all of this may not be sure exceptional service experience. An additional managerial challenge is to make sure that customers do their part and co-producing the service experience know the roles of they are supposed to play and they and have the capabilities to perform them successfully.
Sir, tapos na po.
All right. So, ayun. Wala na ako nasabi. Well, actually, based on the uh, performance presentation, okay, maganda naman yung maganda yung naging presentation nyo because wala akong question. Wala
Thank
akong
you po.
question. Wala akong question kasi naintindihan ko naman yung, upon listening to your presentation, it's very informative. Also, it's na comprehensive, no? Yung pagkaka-explain nyo of each and every slides, no? Now, I just have one question for each and every one of you. Okay lang ba?
Sige po.
Parang ayaw nyo eh. Wala na si Mortega. Bakit?
Ano po, nalobat daw po kasi nasa trabaho pa rin po siya.
Ha? Nasa trabaho pa rin siya?
Opo, lobat na daw po siya.
Okay, sige. Sige. Kayo na lang tatlo. Si Mr. Sanchez, nandito ka pa ba? Baka nakatulog ka na.
Hindi po, sir.
Okay. Alright. Based dun sa report ninyo, as a future manager, no? How you will wait. How you will encourage or how you will give motivation to your future employees based on your discussion and your report. Sige, unahin natin si Miss Ramos since siya yung huling nag-discuss. Miss Ramos, baka nakatulog na siya. Miss Ramos. Okay ka pa? Hala, nasaan siya? Miss Aplacador, ikaw muna.
Based po sa report ko, para ma-motivate ma-empower yung employees is bigyan po sila ng yung mga needs po, like yung survival needs, yung mga financial rewards din, or yung mga non-financial rewards, yung mga recognition program, pagbibigyan ng certificate awards to appreciate their hard work. Po, ganun.
Mr. Sanchez,
Mm,
how about you?
ah, Yun nga po, based po dun sa report ko po na all about rewards nga din po na ah isa pong ano yun, paraan para ma-motivate sila na mas gandahan pa nila yung performance sa trabaho, and then how how we motivate them. Siyempre ayun po yung topic ko naman po na ano, na minimizing the negatives. Siyempre, pagdating naman po doon, kailangan kong magbigay ng mga motivational uh, motivational message para sa mga employees ko para yun po, motivate sila na palaging positive thinker po dapat. Yun lang po.
Okay. Alright, so mukhang si Miss Ramos ay nakatulog na. Nandiyan pa ba siya?
Oh,
Ayan. Oh. Ano oh?
sir, dito
Naka pa?
po.
Ano daw? Based on your report, ulitin ko yung question ha. Based on your report, as a future employee, no? As a future manager, how will you motivate or how will you encourage your staff for his or her daily life?
Ano po, be supportive po as manager sa kanila. Plus, be respectful din po. Tapos, yun, bigyan po sila ng employee reward to give them to grow din.
Okay, kasi yeah. Yeah, very good. Tama naman yung mga sinabi nyo, and also that will only give you chance na mas maging close do sa employees mo, and also magkakaroon kayo ng parang bond that will give them more strength or will give them more drive, tinatawag, to do their job. And those example of giving them rewards, giving them recognition are just some of the ways on how you will encourage your employees. All right? Any other additional?
Wala na po.
Wala na po. All right, sige. So, well done. Maganda yung yung presentation nyo. And nag-enjoy ako makinig.
Thank you po.
All right. Thank you so much for group 6 discussing the chapter 7, Serving with Smile, Motivating Exceptional Service. Congratulations. Thank you and good night.
Good night po, sir.
Thank you po.